Yeah, welcome to the Weege Show. We are pumped to wrap up the first of 3 Monster Energy Supercross events at the massive Atlanta Motor Speedway. We tried to get a feel for what this track would be like, both watching today and in our preview show yesterday, and we still don't really have an idea because we were chasing the weather all day long, and it led to an exciting, we don't know what's gonna happen day, and even into what we'd call the night show, even though it was a day race, that ended up being the case all the way down to the last lap. There's still a little mystery to unwind. First, let me make sure this lens is clean. There you go. Second, let me mention Race Tech. You already know their gold valves will make your suspension work well. It was into the main event for A-Ray using gold valves, plusher, better bottoming resistance, more traction, made it an engineer in the USA. And then you also have Race Tech Engine Services. They have a really cool, high-end, high-tech CNC digital porting machine, and privateer riders like Chris Blos, who is solid no matter what type of track, what type of weather. He's always good, and he used Race Tech engines to put it into the main tonight. Try to make my way across the track. They, I gotta put the mask on. I'm about to get yelled at there. They let me do the track walk by myself last night without a mask. I'm not sure what the rules are. I'm just following the rules, people. Trying to not get kicked out of the races. Don't put all of your political opinions on a mask on me. It's got nothing to do with me. So, the real question was gonna be, how would the track shape up weather-wise? Well, let's find out right now, at the end. Mud race, not a mud race. The sun came out right before opening ceremonies. This is actually really good dirt, like really good dirt right now. It drizzled all afternoon. It didn't rain hard. It was really hard to figure out what was going to happen. If it rained super hard, we would have known for sure it's gonna be a mudder. Instead, it was kind of in between. It was a steady drizzle, and because they canceled the second practice, I don't even know if I can climb this. I can't even climb it. Because they canceled the second practice, we went hours of drizzle before the riders got another chance to get out on the racetrack. So by the time they went out of the heats, it actually looked really good. Several riders used the word deceptive. It wasn't very good. It was super slick like ice. Guys were trying to jump jumps. They were going down in heaps. But if you could jump the jumps, because the jumps are super sized on this big track, you could make up huge ground. For example, Justin Cooper had a big crash in his heat. He was making up 9 seconds a lap at times by merely jumping some of the doubles. And he almost ran down the heat race winner, Seth Hamaker. But what we didn't know is Cooper actually hurt himself a little bit with that crash. That Hamaker right there. You won the heat. Good job. Oh, well, we're gonna find out right now. What happened in the main? You had the lead. Then what happened?
I didn't have the lead.
Didn't you have a whole shot?
Oh, yeah.
Whole shot?
Yeah, whole shot, and then I just...
Bad line or something?
Yeah, I should have stayed tight and just went to the outside.
I see. Yeah, it was like first and then like fifth all of a sudden.
Yeah.
All right, but you want a heat?
Want a heat, yeah.
That was good. Hey, was it a mud race or not?
I don't think we can call it a mud race.
Okay.
Yeah. The heat was.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
That was bad. All right, Seth Hamaker. So there you go. Heat race was a mudder. Main event was good. This track actually looks sweet right now, but here are the holes that these guys are dealing with. Look how bad this is right here. So what we didn't know, while Justin Cooper was making up ground on Hamaker to finish a close second of the heat, was that Cooper was already hurting from his crash early, and that was all because the dudes had no clue what the track was gonna be like, especially in the opening lap of their heat races. They do not do parade laps before the heats. So they were just left guessing. Mud race, not a mud race. Heat races were pretty bad, pretty sloppy. A lot of the jumps were not jumpable, but if you could jump them, you'd make up a ton of time. And you know who did? Nate Thrasher. Now Thrasher has been a 9th place-ish guy in his first couple of pro races here, making his debut in Supercross for Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha. And the last lap of his heat, Thrasher put in the fastest time of any 250 rider in a heat race. But he was in 10th and he had to go to the LCQ. He crashed on lap 1. I see this lap time from Thrasher and I'm like, wow, he jumped the jumps the other guys couldn't jump. They're not easy to jump, by the way, when they're rutted like this. So, is that Thrasher lap time from a heat? Does it really mean anything, or is it just he was willing to send it because he was out of qualifying position and try to jump the big stuff everyone else was afraid of? Maybe. Now he goes on to win the LCQ, and in his interview to the crowd here, he actually says, I had the fastest lap in the heat, let's go out and win the main. And Thrasher then goes out and does that. What? What is that? I'm going into the pits now. I'm going to have to put the mask on. Save your comments for the comment section below. So Thrasher suddenly is a race winner. We now have five different winners this year. And Cooper got second, making a Yamaha 1-2. And he's happy because he stretches his points lead a little bit. We were all concerned that Cameron McAdoo, he's whackers, he's ram it, he does get crazy. Slippery, big, fast racetrack, little scary for him. He did make some mistakes. He finished third. So if you're McAdoo, you're happy to salvage after some mistakes, third place. If you're Cooper, you're happy to salvage second after the crash in the heat. Hold on, everybody. You guys hate that I just did that. They're already going to work. It's beautiful out now. What is this? It is beautiful. Unbelievable. It's a beautiful day now at 6:30, half hour after the show ends. On to the 450 class. Look, I hate to say it. Everyone was building up. How would this 2-week break change things? And what that really means is, could Ken Roczen flip the momentum back in his direction after Cooper Webb had been so on fire? Could Roczen maybe get some momentum back? I really don't think at this time of the season there's much that these dudes can gain. The bikes are usually where they want them to be at this point. I didn't expect Roczen to be a totally different rider. Unfortunately, if he was any different, he was actually worse. It just wasn't a good main for Kenny. He started way back and he didn't make up a lot of ground. He spent about 10 minutes behind Marvin Musquin, maybe 2 or 3 seconds, and just couldn't get Musquin, and that was about 8th place. And then late, he actually got passed by Dylan Ferrandis, who went nuts. Last 5 minutes of the main, Ferrandis, unbelievable speed. He passed like 5 guys and went from 10th to 5th. Ferrandis has had a bunch of moments in main events this year where he's had great speed. You don't see it in the results. It's a well-earned 5th for Ferrandis that you won't even hear about, because the big story was what was going on up front. It was Ferrandis' teammate, Aaron Plessinger, leading. Plessinger is becoming a fan favorite very quickly. The crowd was going nuts with each lap. He had extended it to 5 seconds. There's a Sexton fight. Very curious if there was a problem. Plessinger got the lead. He tips over. That was a heartbreaker. It leaves Sexton in the lead. Chase Sexton passes Cooper Webb and leaves him. So it was looking good for Sexton, but then Eli Tomac, as he does, and I gotta admit I was wrong. I didn't really think that this track was a Daytona-like track. I know it was at a speedway. I know it was long, but it didn't have that outdoor rough sand feel to it. So I didn't know that it would be especially good for Tomac. Every track's good for Tomac. He's won a lot of races, indoors and out. But it did start to feel like Daytona as Tomac started to close on Sexton late. And we were set for a last lap showdown. And then Sexton bumped into Cade Clayson, the lap rider. Cade's a good dude. It's really unfortunate that that happened. But I'm curious, Sexton then singled a bunch of doubles after that. Hey, you were ripping, dude. You were ripping.
Not bad today.
Yeah, better than not bad. Not bad with the modesty. Jason Anderson won a heat and fastest in qualifying. But every race he's been fast this year, bad start. And that's kind of what happened. Anderson got 4th in the main. Now, I am gonna go ask these Honda dudes if something happened to Sexton's bike. I'm not gonna do it on the record because I'm not supposed to pass this line. Watch me. All right, we're back. I just talked to Sexton's dad. Nothing happened to the bike. He overjumped. So Clayson holds him up. That allows Tomac to get him. Then the finish line jump, which was overjumped by about 80% of the riders. Sexton overjumped it, landed in mud. He didn't think he could do the next double. And once he rolled that, he knew the race was over. Tomac was gone. So the bike wasn't busted. I thought maybe he bent a shifter or broke some spokes when he got run into by Clayson. The Clayson incident, unfortunately, really did tip everything in Tomac's direction. That sucks for those guys when they become part of the story that they don't want to become part of. But Sexton, who came within 1 lap of winning, kept his chin up because he did get his first 450 Supercross podium, and that is something. Although you know he would have wanted that win. And Plessinger, oh my gosh, he's got to be so bummed. He had a 5-second lead. Sexton was closing a little bit, but it was just a routine crash that cost poor AP dearly. That's a bummer. Really interested when we come back on Tuesday. Tomac mentioned on the podium that he kept a positive mindset, even with the mud, because he felt that this track would be good for him. And like I said, I was wrong. I thought it would be just like a regular Supercross, just bigger. But it did really suit Tomac. All tracks suit Tomac to a degree, right? So Tomac's gonna be tough to stop on Tuesday. Webb got 3rd. He gains more points, it's 22 up on Roczen, but as he said, he wasn't happy with that ride. He got pretty much beat straight up by Plessinger, who pulled away. Sexton and Tomac passed him and pulled away. But third place on your bad day, that's not so bad, right? That's how it's won. But really interesting what's building over here. Ferrandis, super fast, super fast. I don't know if it was seen on TV, but he was ripping late in the race to pass 5 guys, go from 10th to 5th. And Plessinger, what might have been, and Sexton, what might have been. That's the interesting part. We still only have 4 guys that have won races this year, and it's the same 4 guys that had won races to this point of the season last year. But we're on the verge of someone breaking through, and it could be from there, or it could be from there. Thanks to Race Tech. Pumped to be back in the races. Beautiful weather too.